Identity, who you become when the old you is gone. On my birthday, not long ago, my wife and I were talking and she started crying. Not sad crying, something else. And I asked her what was wrong, and she told me something she had been holding for months since I came home from the hospital. She said, watching you try to do the things you used to do without being able to, watching you struggle with simple tasks that used to be automatic, I was holding so much pain and tears, and I couldn't let you see it because I needed to be strong for you. And then she said, but seeing how far you've come, how much you've recovered, I can finally let that go because I can see you're going to be okay. Not okay like before, okay like you're becoming something new. And a few days later, a friend told me my speech was much clearer than it used to be, that hearing me talk was easier now, that progress was visible. That's when I realized I'm not recovering the person I was. I'm becoming someone new, and everyone around me can see it. Here is something I didn't understand for a long time after my stroke. I kept waiting to find the person I used to be. I kept thinking recovery meant getting back to who I was before. And one day I realized that person is not coming back. And that realization was not sad. It was the most important moment of my recovery. Because it meant I could stop waiting and start building, not rebuilding, building someone new from the foundation of who I was, with the knowledge I have now and the constraints I have now. Identity is not something you find by looking backward, it's something you build by looking forward. Most people never face this question. Most people inherit their identity from their family, their job, their habits, the way people expect them to be, and they never question it, they just become it. A stroke forced me to question it. And once you question who you are, you can't go back to just inheriting it. You have to choose it. When people tell you that you've changed, that your speech is clearer, that you're different, that something in you is new, that's not just feedback. That is the world confirming that you are becoming someone. For months after my stroke, I was living inside my own experience of struggle. I couldn't see the progress. I could only feel the struggle. But my wife saw it, my friends saw it, and they told me. And that telling, that external observation became the mirror I needed. You cannot see yourself becoming, but the people who love you can, and they will tell you if you listen. My wife wasn't mourning the person I was. She was grieving for me, for what I had lost, and then she was witnessing me becoming. And that shift, from grieving to witnessing, that's when she knew I was going to be okay. Not the same okay, a different okay. An okay that includes her pain and my pain, but also growth, new growth, building something that didn't exist before. So here's how identity actually gets rebuilt. Not through inspiration or motivation, those are temporary, through small, repeated decisions about who you are going to be. Every morning I decide, I am someone who shows up. I am someone who does the work even when it's hard. I am someone who listens to my body. I am someone who builds within my constraints instead of fighting them. Those are not affirmations, they are identity statements, and I live them repeatedly until they become true. And here's what I learned. Every time someone sees you living that identity and they mention it, that's not just feedback, that is confirmation. That is the world agreeing with the identity you are choosing. Identity is the intersection of who you decide to be and who the people around you see you becoming. Your wife didn't create your recovery, you did, but she witnessed it. And her witnessing, her tears, her relief, her ability to finally say, I see you becoming, that made the identity real. Because it wasn't just internal, it became shared, it became witnessed. And that's the deepest part of recovery that nobody talks about. It's not just that you change, it's that the people around you have to grieve the person you were and welcome the person you are becoming. And they do that silently, in tears, until one day they can tell you, I am not the person I was before my stroke. I will not be, and that's not a loss anymore. That's a fact I've made peace with. I am someone who rebuilds. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. I am someone who listens to fatigue, who factors constraints into my design instead of fighting them, who builds identity consciously instead of inheriting it accidentally. I am someone who came home from the hospital unable to do basic tasks, and years later, someone remarked that my speech is clearer. I am someone my wife can finally cry around because she knows I'm going to be okay, not the same, but whole. The person I'm becoming is not a restoration, it's a new construction, and that is infinitely more powerful. This episode closes the first arc of Rebuild. 5 episodes about habits, discipline, fatigue, the invisible recovery, and finally, who you become when everything changes. I built this show to answer a question I had on the day I came home from the hospital. How do you rebuild when everything is different? And the answer is, you don't rebuild the same thing. You build something new, and you let the people who love you witness it. There's more to come on this channel. Different angles, deeper dives. But this first arc, this is the foundation. This is what I needed to say. I am Lucci. This is Rebuilt.